You're now listening to Tuff Tiger Talk Flash Report.
You're now rocking with Tuff Tiger Talk. Big ups to the Tuff Tiger Talk and the Purple and Gold Nation. We in this thing for another episode of Tuff Tiger Talk Flash Report. I'm Big Q, chiming in with you guys. And a bit of news coming from LSU as the 2020 football schedule has been released. Starting off the show, please hit the subscribe button if you aren't a subscriber on Tuff Tiger Talk, the realest show talking about our LSU football Tigers. Now, moving into this thing, the SEC announced its full 2020 football schedule, including a return to the normal 8-game conference schedule, accompanied by the usual 4 non-conference matchups for each school. Now, I have to give it to the SEC this past season with college football. They did a pretty damn good job dealing with the circumstances of C-19. And we were able to complete the season with an SEC team as a national champion. Of course, I'm not an Alabama guy, but I do respect winning and how they were able to get back on top again. And of course, you would rather have an SEC team than to have a Big 10, Big 12, whatever. But the reality is, if you're a diehard LSU fan, I guess you would say pick anybody but Alabama, right? I guess it depends on who you are. But LSU's football will be highlighted by some home conference games against Auburn October the 2nd. They have a Florida matchup October the 16th. The stiffest challenge, of course, will be the road trip to Alabama, Tuscaloosa, to challenge the reigning national champion in Alabama the first weekend of November. And of course, LSU have that traditional bye week before that Alabama matchup, but obviously the schedule can be considered subject to change after they witnessed in 2020 season around the SEC and college football as a whole, but modifications to the schedule should not be surprising. LSU season will kick off on the West Coast in its first meeting with UCLA, the Bruins. LSU would then return home for 2 non-conference matchups with McNeese State and Central Michigan before hopping SEC play with Mississippi State on the road. LSU's home SEC opener is set for October the 2nd against Auburn. LSU will close out the regular season with 3 home games, including the non-conference matchup with UL Monroe on November the 20th. Now, the kickoff times and television broadcast information will be confirmed at a later date, but this is your 2021 LSU football schedule. September the 4th at UCLA, West Coast trip there. We come home for 2 back-to-back home games, September the 11th versus McNeese State, September the 18th versus Central Michigan, September the 25th. We then travel out to Mississippi State, take on the Bulldogs. We come back home for 1 October the 2nd against Auburn. We then travel on the road October the 9th. We travel on the road to go at Kentucky. Come home October the 16th against the Gators. That's a good matchup there. October the 23rd, we travel to Ole Miss to take on the Rebels. Now, that should be a really interesting game with Lane Kiffin. How this season ended with us able to beat Ole Miss, that will be inspiring. And Lane Kiffin and, of course, the Joe Brady acolytes that we have now running the offensive coordinator position and the passing game coordinators up against Lane Kiffin. We'll see how that shakes. October the 30th, we'll have that traditional bye week before we go up against Alabama in Alabama on November the 6th. And of course, November the 13th, 3 straight home games, starting with the Razorbacks, November the 20th against UL Monroe. And then we conclude the season, regular season wise, against the Texas A&M Aggies. That's a traditional thing that we've been doing for a time now. So this is a very interesting schedule. LSU opened up at UCLA, West Coast trip. And of course, McNeese State, Central Michigan should represent some wins as well. Mississippi State, not completely all there, but scrappy. Auburn will be an interesting matchup. Kentucky, we should be able to beat those guys. Florida is another tough contest in which, we have to take care of business against the Gators. That'll be here in Death Valley. Of course, we go to Ole Miss. Both matchups against Mississippi teams, we're traveling there. And of course, that real big matchup, November the 6th against the defending national champions, Alabama Crimson Tide, will be interesting. But how do you guys feel about this schedule? Put in the comments section below, what do you think this schedule turns out to be? I mean, wins and losses. How many wins versus losses do we get in this with all of the changes that we've come across. And of course, on Tough Tiger Talk, man, we have a lot of really good LSU family members. I salute you guys. Much love to you guys. And we got some real tough people out there. My goodness. Dealing with the LSU Tigers, So I want all of you guys to comment. What do you guys think about this schedule, man? I mean, give me your opinion on how you think this schedule ends out. So it's interesting. So, but that'll do it for another Tough Tiger Talk Flash Report. I'd like to thank all you guys for dropping by and listening to the show. Like I said before, if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell for more reports throughout the offseason for LSU. If you want to be a part of it, please hit the subscribe button and join the Purple and Gold Nation. Join the Tough Tiger Talk podcast, the realest show covering LSU football. I'm Big Q chiming in. Thank you. Peace. Go Tigers.